Alright, I'll send a message to the right system. Or did you already? Okay, awesome. So I'll show you sort of the idea that I had so far. So yeah, I abstracted this sort of like navigation part for different categories of apps, and this just grabs like all the metadata um, uh, from like the app's packages. And then what I'm thinking is, because it's in the metadata, adding a field there that shows, or like maybe keys required or something along those lines. And then these are collapsible, and then it reads wherever keys are required, and it has like just a normal text field. And then saving whatever the input is per app as like the sort of JSON object, like how we have it now in the database. That way we don't have to do anything once this goes live, because they're already in the database. But yeah, for like new instances account. And then yeah, on the App Store, just checking to make sure there are keys, or else it won't render in the App Store. Yeah, that's sort of like the general high level design. I don't know if like having like the collapsible and like these categories are the best, but I'm thinking as long as like
Yeah, I mean, we can iterate from there. Yeah, and also, I mean, that's like the best way to progress. Let's just make it as ugly as possible. So Kieran will feel the urge to design it well, and then we can iterate and match that. So
yeah, I think having a little like prototype as well sort of helps with like the context things. One question I had though, for like the sort of global apps that don't need key, well, no, I guess Cal videos still need key. Right, yeah. Can I do... okay. Yeah,
let's just be careful to not leak keys to the stream. So.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. Maybe.
Yeah, the struggle is real.
Yeah. Let me see like what we have now in production. Because yeah, everything needs. Well, okay. I'm looking at our like production database, what has keys and what doesn't. And there's actually a lot more apps that don't have keys than I thought. Well, the QR code makes sense. Sort of like our internal stuff, but like SendGrid, I'm surprised that doesn't have like a key or.
Yeah, and yeah, I get what you're saying, that there are some apps that don't need a key itself. So the way that I see it, I don't know if it's going to make sense to have maybe a new column, like a toggle for an app. So that will be also useful. So let's say we have some faulty app that we need to fix, or the admin says, okay, this is not quite there yet or something, so they can disable apps without actually removing from the database. I mean, I don't think that's necessary for the MVP. I'm just trying to picture because it's gonna get tricky.
That makes sense.
Because if you disable like a Google Calendar app, we need to update a lot of logic. So when fetching the everything that touches Google Calendar, we have to add some kind of query. So bring me all the apps that are not disabled and such and stuff like that. So it's gonna be quite tricky to achieve, but I think on the long run it will be worth it. But for now, let's just try to maybe just
I think maybe the MVP is just enter keys on the screen and just have it update in the database, and then we can
yeah.
go from there. I like the idea about the toggle though, especially if apps don't need keys. Maybe replacing the chevron with a toggle, and if it is enabled, collapsing it down to show
Yeah.
keys to apps.
Also, I think Harium made a with the App Store CLI and stuff. I think he auto generates a config for every single app,
Yeah.
so we can kind of have something to compare to. So this is like in this config file, there is all available apps that we have right now, and we can compare that config file with the database to see, okay, we have 50 available apps and you have 20 on your database. So we can like kind of like match those and kind of assume that all the apps in the database are enabled and the rest are disabled. Kind of like a workaround until we actually have an enabled property, but I don't know if that makes sense or how we can achieve that, because
Yeah.
right now I think let's say it's a new Cal.com instance and there's no users, there's no apps, there's no nothing. So you kind of create the first user and then you get presented with this interface. Then how does the new user will know which apps are actually available? Because if we try to fetch apps from the database, the app table will be empty because there's no seeders, no nothing has run yet. So we kind of need to maybe make an endpoint that will read all the config JSON file from all the App Store folders and kind of turn that into a static listing and say there's nothing on your database, but these are all the apps that we have available, and if you want to enable one, then you have to put your keys here.
I mean, what's stopping us from just creating like a new column in the apps table, just enabled or active? And
I mean, we can create the column, and the thing is, we have to update all queries that are app related. Let's say we're getting all Prisma.credential find many where app is this, and we have to add and is enabled. And not only Prisma.apps itself, every single query that has some kind of relationships with apps. So that's when it gets kind of tricky.
I'm just thinking, the scenario that you brought up, like let's say an app's causing bugs and like the instance owner decides to disable it. Does that mean it's just like removed from the database then and it's like re-added?
Yeah, that's the alternative right now. I know it's not pretty, it's not ideal, because I don't know, I'm not sure, but I think on Prisma we have some cascade on delete. So if you remove Google Calendar, I'm not sure, and I wouldn't like to find out, but I think all credentials are deleted as well, because there cannot be credential for on no app or undefined app or something.
So should we go with adding a column that's like an enabled column then? That way, like that app stays in the database and we don't have to delete any of the credentials or anything related to that app.
Yeah, we can do that. I'm just curious to maybe make a search and replace or find all to see how many queries we run with Prisma.credential and Prisma.apps are the ones that I think are most critical. And if it's not too much of an effort to update those, I think we can add the enable column right now.
I don't, off the top of my head, I don't think it would be that hard because like I know for sure there's like just the listing integrations endpoint, there's the locations one, there's the destination calendars one. Those are the three like big ones.
Yeah.
Let me just write this down.
We have a question on the chat. Are you guys working on a mobile app? There's no plans yet for a mobile app. Basically, we are purely web-based, and I don't think we're planning to add apps soon. Although there are some customers that use our API to integrate scheduling on their own native apps, so there's that. We do have a desktop app though. It's just a wrapper for the web application, but it looks prettier. And I think there's someone working on push notifications for desktop, so that's cool as well.
So I'm wondering for today, just having like a toggle here that maybe doesn't do anything to the database, but sort of like emulates enabling apps, and then once it's enabled, just collapsing it to show the stuff. There. So yeah, let's do that. Also, I'm still trying to like get caught up on like what's changed between like what's moved between V2 core components.
Yeah, I've been struggling with that as well. I've been finding some errors actually when maybe like an old import. I think there was a PR earlier some days ago where many V2 components moved to the root, but there are still some remains. And yeah, that needs some work because there are some places where you're importing from Cal.com UI or Cal.com UI components, Cal.com core, Cal.com V2, and it's getting quite messy.
Okay, I'm just trying to think. Where would the toggle be? Is it in? Would it be under form?
I think. Yeah, something like form and oh, you mean the toggle?
Yeah, like just the simple toggle. Just replace the chevron here.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I'm trying to see like where toggle's been used in the settings toggle.
There's a settings toggle on Cal.com UI V2 core.
Oh, use a switch. Does that mean? Okay, it's called switch.
Yeah, makes sense.
Can I import it here? Does it go through an error? Okay. So let's replace the chevrons with switches. Okay, no. Alright, is it, oh, from .co.uk. Okay. Okay, awesome. So yeah, this will just be like our sudo enable. Hmm. So I guess the next thing now I want to do is, if it needs keys, when you toggle enable it, showing the input for the keys, but if it doesn't need keys, then just having it enable. So I'm wondering then if it's better to put like the keys needed in the config file versus in metadata. Config, right? That
Yeah,
makes the most sense.
yeah. I think we can take advantage of this PR to actually make all the necessary schemas on SOT for each metadata or each key. I mean, there are some keys that are just like a single string. There are some that are objects with multiple properties.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking maybe in the case for, I mean, I think Google, you just paste the JSON that they gives you, and we can just validate that and make sure that all properties are there, and save that as a single text file. But there are other apps that are more like in. I'm trying to think which ones. Let's say, let me see the App Store example. App Store example. Okay. And let's say the Slack one. The Slack one is a client ID, client secret, and a signing secret. So even though we save all those on a single JSON column, I think the best user experience will be like presenting a single text input for every single key or variable. And internally we can just save it like as opposed to, so the user don't have to worry about missing a JSON comma and maybe having an extra space on the string or stuff like that. We can process the individual strings, kind of like when saving environment variables on Vercel. And internally we mix them, we create the JSON, and we save it on the database. And well, we need to parse when saving, and we will need to parse also when reading. So let's say they want to edit the key later on, we need to present the key, the text fields populated with the keys, so they can modify them easily. So yeah, that's an abstraction we will need to make.
Yeah. I'm wondering though, for like, you brought the, like, that makes sense for, because I know with Office, like, or Microsoft, you need to like find the client ID and then find the secret. But you make a good point with the Google sort of credentials. They just give you the single JSON file. So should
Yeah.
we go through each app and find, or just figure out when we're grabbing keys, do we have to have individual like inputs per like property, or have it where it's just you paste the whole JSON file that the provider gives you?
Yeah,
Right?
that's
Yeah. Because I'm
yeah.
thinking,
I mean,
I'm trying to like put in Google
You-
credentials and then like parsing through that JSON myself and copying and pasting.
yeah. The thing with Google is like it has way more fields,
Yeah.
so that's why it makes sense to just paste whatever Google gives you. But you can see kind of most of our apps, they have some similarities. Like most of them, they ask you for a client ID and a secret. So I don't know if we can maybe give Google the same treatment, because you know what, I think we can do that with Google as well.
Yeah.
So we can actually standardize those things. And I'm looking from a testing key I have saved from Google, and basically it's an JSON object
Yeah.
with a web property, and inside the web property we have a client ID, a client secret, and redirect URLs. But if I recall correctly, I think we don't actually use those redirect URLs. We kind of make them on the fly.
Hmm.
So actually, we only need the client ID and secret from Google.
Oh, Cindy says the background music's a little loud. Alright. Hope that's not too quiet. Okay,
Nice.
so I'm wondering if we should just start with something simple then, like sort of like experiment with the Outlook calendar, just because I know, like, I'm most familiar with that, and it's like I know for sure it's client ID, client secret.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of falls back to how much effort we want to put into this, because um, as far as I know, the Google integration is one of the first ones available. So it kind of makes sense that it's the way that it is. But I mean, sooner or later we have to update this. So I think this is a good time to do this.
Mhm. Mhm. I'm just thinking like as a like MVP, just starting out with like one app, and then figure out what works, what doesn't work, and then apply it to all the other ones.
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Where's calendar? All right. Huh. It's interesting. So maybe the newer apps have a config file, because I noticed, yeah, Outlook doesn't have one. Office. I wonder Google Calendar. Yeah. So I guess we have to manually create config files for the older apps then.
Yeah, I think that's going to we're going to need to do that.
Okay. So okay, let's start with Outlook calendar. Who I know best.
I mean, do I think we do have a, if I recall correctly, a app registry, but I think that no, never mind. That actually calls the database. So my idea was to maybe make an app registry, but that doesn't call the database, but do the search files for the actual app store. But
hmm well, I mean, I think it's under utils. There's something that grabs all the all the apps. I'm just trying to remember which one it is. Uh, Computer integrations, get apps. Yeah. Oh, it's not under the App Store utils. Or is it? Yeah, it's under App Store utils. Get apps. So I don't think this reads through the database.
which one it is?
Uh, the utils file under App Store.
Okay, so
Get apps line 79.
I
Doesn't
was
seem.
on underscore utils.
Uh,
Okay.
or wait, does this still? Oh wait, no. I think this still does read through the. No.
Hmm.
It still read. It still has to access the database somehow because it grabs credentials.
No, I think you're actually right here. Locations, yeah, location types. Yeah, I mean, we already have the App Store metadata file that it's auto generated, so that file can help us to actually know which apps are available without reading the database.
Hmm.
So we can make an endpoint that the only thing it does is reads that App Store metadata index file and just returns whatever data there is. So we can actually populate these listings without calling the database.
I'm just wondering if it's get app with metadata. Get app
Yeah,
with.
in this case, basically the get apps function that you saw,
Hmm.
we we can make like a duplicate of that function that doesn't get the credentials, so it only returns the all apps stuff, and use that on an endpoint, and we're good to go.
Uh, okay, no. Get app registry still relies on. I'm just seeing there's something because you said the app registry is auto-generated. So I'm wondering what function auto-generates that. Because if we can reuse some logic
Mhm.
for that.
Mm, I don't think it's necessary because these files are tracked. So whenever the auto-generated files are changed, they are tracked on the Git history. So
Oh,
there's
okay.
there's no need to actually generate them dynamically. So we had a discussion, Harry and myself. So we rather, since these files don't change that much and that often,
Mm-hmm.
so it was like a hassle. There was many users that for some reason they skip a step and they didn't have that file, and they start asking questions on Slack on why the App Store doesn't work, and it was because that file was missing. So it was my suggestion to just track it, and if it changes, let's just track those changes as well. So we don't have to generate every single time.
Mm, okay. I'm just looking. What's all apps? Sorry, I'm just exploring all apps is. Okay. That metadata. Okay, I'm just trying to understand this function before, like, just to understand logic behind it. So, all maps map, it searches through the user's credentials to only return apps and install. But if we reuse some of this logic, we don't have to filter through um, the credentials because we're just grabbing the apps from
Yeah,
package
we don't
itself.
care for credentials yet on
Uh,
this context.
yeah, check if app has location option. I think the only thing when we're grabbing apps is just determining like which category it fits in, right?
But I think the metadata already has that info.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, credential. Okay, so I'm wondering your approach on this. Should I create like a new function that reuses some of this logic, or just like make credentials optional and or add logic to a
Mm,
function that already exists? What's your
I,
approach?
th- I think we should create a new function.
Okay.
Maybe just like get local apps or something, or get available apps. I don't know. Available. I don't think that's the best.
Yeah. Okay, that's okay. So I'll make a new endpoint first, and then call the function. Uh, I was debating. I know we have to change some stuff around, creating like a new viewer for apps, just to keep everything organized.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Also to avoid conflicts, because I think there's a PR open for upgrading TRPC to 10,
Oh, okay.
and every single move that we do here on the routers before merging that is gonna create a new conflict.
Yeah.
So let's keep it on a new file,
Mhm.
and later we can just merge it.
Uh, oops. And then,
All right, I'm gonna get some coffee.
yeah, for sure. All right. What do I need to import now? Creating a new router. Okay. Export fonts, apps, router. Uh, data. Grab local app metadata. I guess we need the variant. Variants string. Then all right, just to make sure I have okay. Apps router query. Oh. All right. So I just created the TRPC endpoint. Okay, I'm just gonna close some stuff. Done with that. Okay. Get apps. Okay. We're just gonna create a new function. Export function. Get local. What did I call it? Get local app metadata. Metadata. Trying to think. I guess the function should just grab all the metadata, and then we filter on the category here.
Yeah, I mean, let's first see if we can actually return the
Okay.
whole listing, and
Okay.
then go from there.
Yeah. All right. What's the logic here? All apps. I wonder if we can just
Yeah,
All apps? Oh,
I don't see why not.
okay. uh, right.
Yeah, let's try with all apps. And
Yeah, yeah. And then oops, forget look at what I call this.
also, let's name the query maybe like mm, something more simple. Since
Okay.
we already use like viewer.apps.list or
Mm-hmm.
local list
Mm-hmm.
something,
Uh,
they just put it like local or local list.
okay. Okay. Because we're okay.
Yeah,
Because it's like
it's gonna be
packets.
already prefixed. Yes.
Okay. Okay. List local. And then okay. Is it out Cal.com at or App Store utils?
Yeah, I think so.
Huh?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
oh,
it
oh.
is.
Oh, this is depreciated.
Yeah, yeah. Don't worry about it. It's
Okay. Okay.
that's part of the actual uh, VR.
Okay. Uh. All right. And then I'll just.
Let's return the actual apps.
Oh. Okay. You're right. Uh. Well, I have a console lock here. Yeah. Just return still.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I just wanted to test and see like the format and apps dot local category. Let's do. Oh, let's list locale. Okay. What am I doing wrong here? Is there anything wrong? Oh. It's that from fraud, yeah. Okay.
Just making sure we don't leak anything, right?
uh,
I think we don't have any actual keys here.
no. URL. No.
Yeah, I think they were removed.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we're good. So yeah, I think we can. If this is from the metadata, I guess. Can we? Like, I'm thinking we have like keys and then client secret, like client ID. Have something sort of like that in the metadata. Well,
Yeah, the that was like before we migrated all to the database.
oh, okay, okay. Because yeah, I think if we read this, this can determine like what we need in terms of inputs. Okay, sick.
Mm, yeah, the I think the thing we can do about that, let's say, mm, I don't know if the best place to put it is on each app, or we can just have it on Prisma, like we are doing some of the schemas. But the thing is, we can we can get those schemas defined somewhere, and then we can find them via slug or app ID in this case. So let's say I want to get this Zapier schema, so I can find it on this, maybe on the Zapier app, and get that schema, and we can just get me all the keys for this schema and present them on the front end. So if we modify the schema on the front end, we'll see new or less fields. So it's we have like a single source of truth for schemas in this case, or the necessary keys that we have, and we can kind of use sort for that. So we don't actually save them on the metadata.
Okay. Then I'm wondering. So, are you thinking?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think this is for
This is.
app data schema. Yeah, I think that's it. I think Harry already did something like this.
Okay. So let's do Outlook, just because I'm most familiar with that. Let's add a TS. Yeah, that comes on. So if we call this like app keys, and then how do you object? You go client ID like. Are you thinking like something like this? Having like schema.
Yeah, kind of like that. And actually, now that I see it, there's an app.schemas.generated file as well. So we can know from a single place all the schemas that we already have, and this is auto generated as well. So you can actually use this on at our advantage. And now that I think about it, we can actually use this on the endpoint, on the public listing endpoint. And since they are already using the same app ID, we can just kind of merge them. Like, okay, get all apps, and we can map those and add the schema as a property there by reading this file as well. And on the front end, we can just know which keys each schema has. So
Okay.
the thing is, we need to actually add the missing schemas.
Yeah, which is, I think it's fine.
Yeah, it's not, there are not many, and also we need to ask Hariam as well. Hi, if he have any plans for making this easier from here on. I don't know if how is auto generating this stuff.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask. So the Outlook calendar didn't have a schema file, but I just added one. So it's like, how can I regenerate this file?
I think you can just run yarn build on the App Store CLI, yeah, or yarn App Store build, yeah, that's one. And yeah, I think I'm looking at the code, and yeah, you just name the file sub.ts, and then run yarn App Store build, and it will regenerate it. So yeah.
Okay, I think I may have broke something when we did that. Let's see. Oh, okay. I just had to. But yeah, awesome. It's app data schema. So I'm wondering, like, what is this? I guess like, what's the goal of app data schema?
Say what again?
Like I'm just wondering what's the where this like app data schema is being used. Like, could we add the keys needed to this? Do we need to create like a new event type app card?
Mm, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Let me make a quick look up. So in this case, you are on Google Analytics one.
Yeah. I'm just using the GA4 as
So
an example app.
let me find a folder here. We're importing. Okay, so right now, as far as I'm seeing, there's a get app data and set app data function. It's like a React component called event type app card inside there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, oh, interesting. Okay, so we'll use app context with schema. What's this?
Just gonna stop sharing my screen for a second. I want to try something.
Sure, I'm gonna share mine.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm coming from here. We have the app data schema and where it's being used here. Event type app card. And we have this hook. It's called get use app context with schema. And it's something like a global setting, I think. In these event type app cards. Okay. Yeah, I think these ones. Event type add-on map.
Have you heard of live share on VS Code?
Yeah.
I just sent you a link. I hope it works on Threads.
All right. Let me stop screen sharing.
It should make things easier. Okay, yep.
I think.
Yeah, it said you joined the.
I guess. All right. Yeah.
And then yeah, I can see your cursor and stuff. So it should make following follow along easier.
I never used this before, so.
It's pretty cool. It's like Google Docs but for VS Code.
All right.
So yeah, it says I'm following your cursor.
Yeah, it's still kind of loading, so.
Okay.
Mm, so which file are we on? Okay, event tabs. All right, so I think this app card wrapper is being used here. Get event tab apps tab. Oh, I got kicked out. One sec. Okay, I'm back. All right. Okay, so now I see what's happening here. So yeah, there's so many new code that I'm not familiar with. It's scary. So if you have the app running, you can go like to event type single view, so where you're editing, and whenever you go to the apps tab, some depending on which apps you have installed, some you get kind of like suggestions. So if you have Rainbow Kit, for example, or something else, so you can actually configure that specific app there. So yeah, I'm getting ideas from here. So, but as far as I know, the actual schemas that we have auto generated are for user data,
Okay.
not for the global
Yeah.
app data. So mm, what to do here? I
Um.
mean, these are schemas, so I think we can take advantage of the sort files because it's like a generic file for schemas anyway. So we can just we have an app data schema on each app, so we can maybe add a add keys schema
Mhm.
and use those instead. So we can take advantage of that, and we can kind of standardize those variables. And it doesn't matter if these schemas touch the front end because we don't have the actual keys in here. We are just like specifying the shape of the keys that this app should have. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think we can piggyback on this code.
Yeah. Like where's it? So like how we're exporting like app data schema, maybe like uh,
Yeah, and also I think we can also get some inspiration from the available apps that we're seeing right now on the event types. Um, App keys, let's say app keys schema.
Okay.
So, okay. Um,
I just have to do this to like
yeah.
calm the errors down. Because yeah, then I'm wondering, do we just generate like an apps dot keys not generated?
No, I think we can just reuse the same schema because let me see. Oh no, yeah, it's the app data schema.
Yeah.
So we can generate an app key schema. That's easy to do. It's just like copy and pasting a block of code and change the name and
Yeah.
I done that before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this could be a good learning experience. I don't know how these files are generated automatically.
So yeah, you can go to the App Store CLI package.
Is it?
Yeah, packages, App Store CLI, and there's a source folder, and there's a. Am I still here? Okay, can you follow my cursor?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, we have this CLI app here,
Mhm.
and let me look up the schema one. Where is it? CLI, App Store, schema. Okay, yeah, we have the schemas output.
Mm.
So yeah, we have this output. We can do two things. We can either reuse the schemas since we already have schemas,
Mm.
and let me just
Yeah, can't we just rename this to the app key schema?
so okay, we're importing the app data schema as something something schema. So let me see if it makes sense to actually, instead of just exporting. Okay, okay. I mean, we can reuse the same file. So, are you following my cursor?
Yeah.
So we are on the generated file. So
Mm-hmm.
technically, since this file is for schemas, we can really just re-import this and use this for app keys, schemas, and do something like this and something like this. And we can even reuse the same imports. Let's say we do this,
Oh, okay.
and but we will need to make sure that these files actually have a export for app key schemas. So that's the tricky part.
I mean, could I just put like some dummy like object in there for now while we're working through this, just because we have to like go through all the apps anyways.
Yeah, let me see what does this function do. Get object exporter, checks if the file exists. So that's good. Okay, so I think we kinda get import builder. Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be more complicated to actually. I mean, the easiest path is to just create a new file. To be honest, then I think later we can ask Hariam if there's a optimal way to do this. So right now, the easy way will be, what is it? Let me see. Schemas output. Maybe make like an app.
Yeah. Or keys.
Apps, keys, schemas output. And we can just do this and look up for app keys schemas. We keep the same file here,
Mhm.
and we import the app keys schema from and keys schema. Blah blah blah. Everything's sync here, and then where is it? I don't know.
Uh, should we keep a camel case here? No. Oh no, because it's a file.
Yeah, it makes sense to keep it like a. Let me just see if I'm missing something. Schemas output. Yeah, yeah, I think that's enough.
Okay, so then run. Okay, I'll try running that.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. uh, server schemas. Mm, okay, I think it's still running. Anyways. No parser, no file path given. Okay, yes, that's generated apps metadata, app server, apps browser app schema, but not the new key schema.
Okay, so I think files to generate, file generated. So what's missing here? Okay, I think maybe the error is because we don't actually have app keys schemas in every single file. So it's
I
actually checking if the sort file actually exists. So
no,
it's not checking if
no.
there's a exported object called app key schema. So
I it generated. I figured out what went wrong. I forgot to save the changes, so
okay,
it didn't run anything.
all
So
right, right.
the file generated.
Okay, that's way simpler.
Yeah. I'm like, man, like how come it's not working? The thing is though, it's grabbing. So I know for sure the GA4 one, it doesn't have the key schema, but it still got added to it. Like,
Also,
are you able to browse the files?
Yeah.
Okay.
So okay, so it's assuming that every SOT file has an apps key schema exported, right?
Mm,
Even if they don't.
yeah. Um, will it break the app if we just continue on then add them later?
I mean, we can. Yeah, that's. Uh,
Hmm.
I mean, it should not be hard to do, but since Hariam is the expert here,
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure it's something simple like check if this file export this method, and if it does, then add it to the imports, and if not, just skip
Hmm.
it. But
I mean, it didn't. It doesn't break the app, so I think we're fine to continue for now.
yeah,
Even
yeah,
though, yeah, these schemas don't exist,
yeah. Let's
but at least we have like the Outlook one.
yeah,
I'm just gonna grab some water real quick.
sure.
All right, I'm back. Did I miss anything?
Nothing that was uploading yet.
Oh, no. Okay, so we have the key schema. We have
Hmm.
got local apps. So in the in this get local app
Yeah,
project.
we're gonna need to do something similar like we did on the get credentials. So we can map all apps and transform if apps log is on schemas, then yeah, that thing.
Okay. Where is all apps being called? How do we generate that? Keys, app store metadata. Oh wait. Oh, okay. Yeah, sick. So I guess we can just call in the keys generated.
Yeah,
Can we
exactly.
Okay. Song, app key schema. Is it schemas or okay? Yeah, schemas.
From apps.
Yeah.
Yeah, apps. Key schemas.
Wait, what's this? If you import this file on any app, circular dependency.
No, that's a warning for the index file there.
Oh, okay. So what's happening here? All apps map. What's delete store? Oh, it's just deleting. But we don't have to like delete any fields from the key schema, right? Because everything that we need is there, and this is just for not sending anything to the front end.
Yeah.
Okay. So can okay.
And does my audio?
Your audio is okay now. It's just like for like a few seconds to sound robotic.
Okay.
So can we just say?
Okay, let's proceed.
I wonder then, can we just? What's the best way to transform this? These are I think they're slugs. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think those are the either app IDs or slugs. I think the app ID is the app ID is the slug. So yeah, we should check for
Type. I think it's type.
Really. But although it doesn't have any underscores or.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I mean.
Where?
Oh man.
Yeah. Where's that file generated? Yeah. Let's see what's happening. Import entry builder. Get app ID. Yeah, app ID then.
I mean, it should be the app IDs.
I'm just seeing because the Outlook one doesn't have a config file, so I'm just looking at the metadata and it's like.
I mean, maybe it's because Office it's an old app, so maybe there might be some inconsistencies for the slug.
But I mean, the actual property name in the generate keys file is correct. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
where it came from.
Meta
Right, because if we're matching the key schema with the metadata, um,
let me see. No. Because in some places we use something, the dir name.
oh,
The dir name is quite that, the directory name. In this case,
so that makes sense then. Where it got the property name from then?
yeah, you can see on the seed app store file whenever yeah. Can you follow me?
Okay.
Right. So we have this create app. So here we can the first argument is the slug, the second one is the directory name, categories, and this is like for backward compatibility. We save the type, I think. Yeah, the type one. And optionally the keys. So but the interesting here is this one. So this is what we use on the actual app to know which folder or which directory is for this specific app. So this is the public slugs. This is the slugs for the App Store, and this is the folder name where all the code for this app is saved. So that's why it doesn't have any underscores or slugs or slashes here. No, that's my voice. I need to drink water.
Okay, let's see. Utils. Outlook calendar. Okay, I'm just looking at the entry, like the Outlook calendar from all apps, and then I'm going to console log.
I found something interesting.
Here, all right, following you.
Yeah, so you can see here the routing forms doesn't have an updated schema, so it's just exporting like a CNE. And we have this very useful note here.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see here we have other schemas as well. So we are not so lost. But yeah, I forgot also that we have a enterprise folder, and the routing forms is an enterprise app. That's another thing to have in mind.
So filter out any unless there's a license fee.
No, that's out of scope for this.
Okay. Can you see my terminal?
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking right now, like, what's the best way to sort of like transform like the all apps to include the sod schemas. So I console logged at least like the Outlook sort of object from all apps, and then I'm just like looking at app schema. So for example, Office 365. So we want to find like an app that matches it. But when I look at the object from all apps, it's from metadata, but like it just it doesn't have like the same sort of camel case Office 365 calendar.
Yeah, that's a bummer. And the thing is, we have it right there with the logo. We have the directory name there. So
could we do something like that? Like as a fallback if the
or you know what? Let me no. Oh, why so hard? I think we let me see something real quick. Pages. Okay. There's a utility function that may help us. Can you follow me? See? Okay, so we have this endpoint, and this is like an old endpoint we used to use, but you can see here we are actually importing a file dynamically for the API endpoints.
Okay.
I think we can do this for the actual schemas. And here we get the app name. In this case, I think is just the like Stripe payment dot something.
Mm-hmm.
And we get the object, and we pass the full object and the app name, and it should give us the key. And we already have the handler map. I think the handler map. Yeah, it's just like that. It's the same. This is the same kind of key. So this key, we can assume that it's a key same from the generated file. So we can technically do this on the stuff. So we don't have to redo everything again.
Okay.
I mean, it's not pretty, but it's something.
Yeah. Trying to think the best way to approach this then.
Had a lot of technical depth.
Yeah. What's the best way to approach this? Could we? Okay, let's see what's the best way to approach this. Okay, let's import that function. Where was this?
Don't mind me. I'm just.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking out loud. Okay, so we have this, but we also have this stuff.
What's it? Type. Do we need this F key schemas?
We already imported it, so.
Right. Okay, how about something like this?
Yeah, it's kind of. Yeah, so, but let me just see. So we have this here. We have this schema. And let's see, we have this here. But we need to check if this actually exists. So we can just want to know.
Yeah, you're right, because some apps don't need keys.
Oh, you have this extension installed?
Pardon?
You have this extension?
Wait, what extension is it?
And let me look it up. Am I looking at your installed extensions? So, wait a second. Okay, so let me see. Is this one? I sent you the address, right? I think.
Oh. What's this one? Oh. Okay, that's pretty cool. Can you see
Yeah. So yeah, you can actually just see what type something return just typing whatever.
Oh, that's so cool.
Just a handy little thing. And
Yeah, so what are you thinking about right now?
okay, yeah, so this. So now should not be any. it is. I really do this, and see if this schema returns.
Okay, yeah, I can just refresh it. I guess not defined. Okay. App key schema. Okay, why does it say it's not defined?
Yeah. I think because we are not exporting app schema from every single file, but we are. So
Wait,
so
Zomars,
yeah.
I have a hard time understanding you. Oh no. Do you want to try turning off your video? Do you think that would help?
I don't.
No.
Is this better?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
It wasn't super it's like before, like it was very robotic and like, but yeah, this is better.
Yeah, just today I forgot my microphone, so.
So why do you think app key schema isn't defined?
Because we're not exporting the apps key schema from every file. So we can just do this for now. Let's do any's.
Well, I thought where were we? Oh. I thought like adding this conditional, like even if it's not defined, it'll just return it all.
I mean, it kinda, but the thing is, we're import. I mean, this. Are you following me?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Let's say we're trying to import this from here that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So that's the error.
Okay.
So I'm just adding them as CNE meanwhile. So, and this is the last one. But I think I cannot save. So you should save all.
Yeah.
Save all open files.
All right. Let's try this again. Okay. What?
Oh yeah, there are some files where we don't have SOT imported. I think. Yeah, this one, the QR code one, and I think that's all of them.
Yep. Save all.
Okay, that's progress.
Yeah. App key schema. Okay. Utils. We'll make console icon. Okay, let's try. Yeah. Okay, no, zoom makes sense. It'd be null.
Yeah, the ones that don't have a sort file at all, those are going to be null.
Yeah. Let me just see if the Outlook one will have.
Or maybe instead of the app name, maybe we should use the app type. Yeah, I think that's.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, it's adding the schema to it now. Awesome. All right, now. So, okay, my schema. Where's apps? There. Awesome. Okay, so now I guess we can filter on variant. Oh, but I think some apps for the variant, it could either be a single value or an array of strings because they may fit in different different categories. Let's yeah, let's just do variant equals variant. Oh. Description. Oh, in the utils. Okay, we're not returning the with schemas. That's why. All right, awesome. So yeah, gRPC endpoint is returning the filtered apps with the schema to the front end. Let's see.
So I think the next thing, I don't know if it makes sense to do this on the back end or the front end, because I mean, we do need the schema to validate the data, but the other thing, from the front end, we only need like the schema keys, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say we're doing the Stripe app, and we need the client ID and the client private key. So I don't know if we make sense to extract those keys from the actual schema, and so we can actually render them on the front end and ask for those individual properties as text fields. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I think that makes sense. So, are we still sending the whole schema object to the front end though?
Do we need to send it to the front end? I mean, if we don't, I try to like a rule of thumb, try not to send unnecessary data to the front end.
Okay.
So let's try to just send the minimal required info to the front end. And I mean, we already have the schema on the endpoint, but and we might need it once we actually need to validate data. But for rendering the front end, I think we only need to know the keys that schema have, if it has any. And if it doesn't, then we can maybe send like an empty array, maybe. And if it does like 3 or 4 keys, we can send each key as an array, or maybe as an actual object. So we can, if we send it as an object, so since each key must be unique, we avoid the risk of sending the same key twice.
Okay. I'm just looking at the ZOD documents to see if like we can just extract like the keys from. Is it?
Yeah, I don't know if we can do a simple object keys, or I think we need to make some C keys. And let me check this off.
Yeah. I'm just looking at like the console log of the schema, and it's like
Oh, there's a method called keyoff. So you can do the schema.keyoff, and it will return so yeah, that's easy.
Yeah. Do you think for this filtered apps you're just adding like map through it and just adding map through, yeah.
Or maybe we can do that in the actual get local app metadata.
Yeah.
And once we actually start sending data, we can figure out a way to get the actual schema. So, I mean, we already kind of have that resolved.
So, we don't even need the key schema in this return object then, right? Like, we can just do keys.
Yeah, key schema dot keyoff. Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
But in this case, we need to make sure that the key schema is an actual schema, because it can be null. So we need to make a null check there.
Just do.
I think that's not gonna be enough, because there's no keyoff method on null. So we need to null check before calling the keyoff method. So just make like if key schema And yeah, key schema key off, and otherwise empty array.
Empty array or null. If we don't have to map the array with anything.
All right, we can keep it null.
All right, saving all the stuff on the terminal. Yeah, access property map integrations. Oh, okay. Key schema key of is not a function. Huh?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I see why. The key of method, it's only available on C objects, and since we are exporting CAny doesn't have a key of method. So maybe we can just like make a quick search and replace for the CAny stuff. Let me try to edit like real quick.
Okay.
So instead of doing this, we want to export C object and replace across 7 files. And that's it.
Okay.
Maybe let's save.
Yeah. Utils. Let's see. Can convert undefined or null to object.
Okay, so let me do another.
We just like something like a client ID.
No, I think we can just replace. Let me just put an empty object.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yep. I mean, it loaded on the front end. Let's see. Let's go Outlook. Keys. So, sorry, this is really tiny now on my screen. So I returned like Zod enum, and then there's the values, which are the actual array. So should we return just the values? Right, makes sense if we're just mapping over it. We don't have to return any of this.
Yeah, makes sense to return the. Okay, so yeah, it's.
Keys. Oh. Huh? Okay, why is keys undefined now? Yeah. Okay, keys is turning undefined. Gotta figure out what's the problem. Oh.
What was it?
It's nested in another thing.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. All right. Awesome.
Progress.
Yeah. I'll just get rid of this Outlook thing. All right, so on the front end, I guess we can just loop through, yeah, map out what it needs, have it as text input. So, is this kind of text input okay? Like have it like client secret or?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm wondering then in the schema file, having it like actually named what it expects. That way, like, yeah, there's no surprises. Cause, all right, I have to do this in a separate window. Cause yeah, because for Microsoft, they're expecting client like underscore ID. So just having it named that in the schema file.
I don't know. Kind of makes sense to do that.
Okay. Okay, let's do. What do we call this? Keys. Map. Integration keys. What? But it's in the right. Oh, it's because some of them are null. That's why it's not rendering. All right.
Or you can, I think you can just question mark the integration keys.
Oh, and then it'll just skip it?
Yeah.
Is it question
Yeah.
mark? Yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah. So Outlook should have. Okay, awesome. Yeah, and then we can. Is it text field? Yeah. All right. variables on the text field aren't rendering, but at least that's simple enough. I think before we end the stream, one thing I want to ask you that so once we submit it, we turn to like a JSON object, and then we can just grab the schema that's associated with the app and just do like zod.parse just to confirm it, and then write it to the database. Oh, I think your mic's on mute.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, agreed.
Okay.
I'm just trying to maybe optimize the way because I'm seeing that this component will get big real fast. So I'm trying to think into maybe an abstraction. So everything you have in collapsible content, I think is going to be like a mini form, and that form is going to receive maybe the app ID, and it's going to receive the array of keys that it's going to update, and that form is gonna run a mutation once you submit it, and it's going to maybe update they're gonna run the mutation, and it's gonna receive the app ID and the actual data of each field, and on the back end, with the app ID, we can fetch the schema that's going to use and compare it with the data, and it's all good. Then we save it in the database, and if it's not, then we return like a 400 bad request error. In that way, we can just keep all forms like instead of instead of having a save button for everything, we can just keep saving individually each form. Does that make sense?
Okay, so let's say, for example, this Outlook calendar. It takes 2
fields.
It needs 2 fields, and then that's the save button within this collapsible content. For just okay.
Yeah, kind of how Vercel does it So, but in my mind, that all that is a single form, like a mini form, and so we can encapsulate all that logic in the same form. So we can just collapse it and forget about it, and move on to the next one and the next one.
Well, I was thinking like let's say this is enabled. So I'm glad we're on the same page about just like submitting just individual apps. But I was thinking for when like an admin revisits this page, shouldn't we auto-populate these fields? Like first show the fields if the app is enabled, and then auto-populate these with what's already in the database. Just in case an admin needs to change the keys or something. Because,
I mean, my gut feeling says let's just do what Vercel does.
Okay. That's exactly what I was thinking too. I was like, okay, like how's
because I mean they I think they populate it, but they don't show it until you click like the I button. Or if you click like the edit button, then you get to actually modify the value. So I will say let's mimic that as much as possible.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, glad we're on the same page.
Cool.
All right, awesome. Well, I think this is a good place to end the stream. Thank you so much for all the help. Honestly, like using like Zod schemas and just populating them, like yeah, I don't think I'd be able to come up with that on my own.
I mean, me neither, to be honest. I mean, it's that's the cool stuff about pair programming, because as we're speaking, we're actually like developing the idea on how it should the best way.
I was thinking as well, just like the knowledge transfer as well. Like I'm learning something new, and if you would have thought about this in a PR, that would have been way later, right? At least we can like make all these changes now and stuff.
Yeah, let's break things fast, but locally.
Yeah, for sure. All right, awesome. Well, I hope you have a good rest of your day then.
All right.
Thanks everyone on the stream for watching.
Thank you for having me on your stream.
Yeah.
I'll try to bring my mic for the next one, so
no worries.
So the robot voice doesn't come back.
Yeah. All right, awesome. Well, have a great night, everyone.
Thank you, guys. See ya.